Alright, I think chivalry isn't around as much as it used to be. I think it should be practiced more often and implemented more into our lifestyles, but that just doesn't seem like it's the case anymore.
Yes, I do think that chivalry still exists, but I think it depends on the circumstance. In my own personal experience, some guys are more chivalrous than others. So I think it's just like how you've been raised. I definitely don't think it's the same as in the past. I think chivalry was more of like a thing. Being like a gentleman was like, it was how you were raised to be a gentleman, and that's not really like something that's taught in our culture anymore. So I think that chivalry still exists, but I think that it's just not as prominent anymore.
I don't think, I don't know that chivalry is like non-existent anymore. I think it's become less appreciated. I've actually had some experiences where there actually one in particular in a class that a girl said that she thought that men holding the door open for them, for women like coming in and out of stores and restaurants and things, was demeaning to women, which I don't agree with, honestly. On a personal level, I think it's best being chivalrous and that's being respectful.
All right. I think chivalry isn't dead, but it definitely has declined to a certain extent. I think that's just because generally society and girls like aren't like looking at dudes as doing things chivalry related along those lines as like them being nice and like trying to just be good to them, whereas they're taken as an offensive matter, which I don't really understand. But I mean, I'm also not a female, so I can't really look at it from their perspective. Like opening doors for them and like, depending on, you know, dates and stuff, like paying for the meal and like just, I don't like do the opening the car door thing, but I know people that do. And like, if that's a thing that you're about, then word. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely still a thing and it's still appreciated by a lot of people. And I still do it, so.
In my humble opinion, I believe that chivalry still exists, dependent on certain human beings. There are some human beings that have been taught and like raised in this manner, and then there are some that don't know anything about manners.
Yes, it does. What I think it is, I mean, it's changed meanings from what it used to be, you know, when knights and all chivalrous and whatnot, and milady and all that crap. But, you know, opening the door for girls and just in general having respect for women, and I mean, it still exists.
In my opinion, I think the values are being diminished somewhat in today's society. I don't think we hold people to the standard as far as morals in today's society as in past generations. And I think that people today are more accepting and not as committed or as loyal to situations from marriage to employment or to friendships. And they're more accepting of things than I think the past generations were.
Do you think we're moving away from it as we change?
I think we are, because I guess society has changed so much. For an example, whenever I was a child, a long time ago, and I can remember our grandmother. If we didn't treat her with respect,
I think
she demanded
in different
respect.
areas it's treated differently in different respects. Some people still remember how it was when they were growing up and the things that they went through and how they were treated, and they want to be treated differently.
Chivalry to me is a sign of respect towards a woman. So yes, I do believe it still exists. Because just as my parents instilled it into me, I feel most parents do the same for their sons.
What is chivalry to you?
I think that chivalry is generally a man's purpose to protect his woman and his family, not necessarily meaning that he controls her, has power over her, but it is his responsibility to take care of them and keep them safe.
which yes, I still think exists.
What is chivalry to you?
Chivalry is like a guy being polite to like women in his life or women around him.
Do you think it still exists?
Yes and no. I feel like ultra feminists are trying to kill chivalry, and guys are using the ultra feminists as an excuse to like not be polite.
What is chivalry to you?
Probably a guy like opening the door for a girl and paying on the first date.
Do you think it still exists?
Yes and no, because now it's like the guy like shouldn't have to pay on the first date, and sometimes it's like the girl is gonna pay on the first date. So.
What is chivalry to you?
Chivalry to me is I guess it's something like or modern day chivalry, I guess, is like someone opening the door for you, or like pulling out a seat, like when you're about to go eat or something like that. Or it's usually typically the man doing it for the woman. And I think that chivalry is more so kind of like what a guy will kind of do in order to get a woman's attention, like, or like make her feel like respected. So yeah.
Do you think it still exists?
I do think it still exists. However, it's almost used as kind of like a tool for.
In our social experiment, Does Chivalry Still Exist? We interviewed 14 different individuals to decide if it does or if we're fading away from it. According to our data that we collected, it still exists, but we are certainly moving away from it.